Say the Consul General of Afghanistan in Istanbul, Zekria Barakzai, who is with me here in the studio. Consul General, thank you so much indeed for your time. Am I right in saying, is that possibly the correct analysis, do you think, that this was looking as if it could be the best chance that Afghanistan had for peace in 20 years?
Thank you very much, Adnan, for inviting me for this important issue for Afghan people. The thing is that it's consensus about Afghan population in Afghan nation that we need peace because we are suffering from the war for the past 40 years. Mm-hmm. It started with...
I know, sorry to interrupt. People say 18 years, the Americans have been there. The Soviets invaded in 1979. Yes. Your country has been at war since 1979. That's yes. Important. The 18 years to 20 years, that's an American perspective. Carry on.
Yes. So the thing is that it's desire of every Afghan to have peace in Afghanistan. But the thing is, it should be Afghan-led, Afghan-owned. If the voices of Afghan people is not heard, it's not be a sustainable peace in Afghanistan. I don't think that the Americans and the Taliban would agree, ignoring the voices of Afghan people. In the voices in a democratic society that we share the values is elections. Why Mr. Hekmatyar of Hizb Islami is now running for presidential elections in 28th of September, why Taliban is ignoring elections as a value? Because best estimates shows that they have support of 10–11% of Afghan population. So in 21st century, when you want to impose your ideas by gun and violence and killing innocent people, it's not acceptable to Afghans.
Okay. Everybody completely understands that there have to be direct negotiations between the Afghan government and the Taliban for, as you say, a lasting peace. But we are at a stage where after 10 months of negotiations between the special representative of the US government in Doha, those talks with the Taliban, they'd reached this deal in principle where about 5,400 American troops will be withdrawn out of the 14,000 the Americans have there. In return, the Taliban would agree not to allow Afghanistan to become a haven for international terrorism. Surely that is a good starting point, even for the Afghan government, until it gets its desire and the desire of the Afghan people to have direct negotiations in Afghanistan between Afghans.
Of course, we appreciate all efforts, not only by the United States, by other neighboring and regional countries contributing to peace process in Afghanistan. And our position of our government is very clear. Don't fight proxies in Afghanistan, because National Unity Government under leadership of our President Muhammad Ashraf Ghani is creating the idea of Afghanistan as center for connectivity, transit and trade. Mm-hmm. Stop proxies. If you think that there will be a magic in Doha to end the conflict of Afghanistan, not considering the voice of people, regional factors, and most particularly the voice of mandate of people through free and fair elections, it will not be a sustainable peace.
Okay, I'd like to get a couple of questions in just the last 2 minutes that we have. Do you have any news about what was reported a few days ago that actually the government was going to hold a face-to-face meeting with the Taliban? Has that now fallen away after Donald Trump has pulled out of the talks? Because that would have been very significant, of course.
We had a gathering of our elected representatives of people in Loya Jirga in Afghanistan, consultative peace Jirga, and it was very clear. The Afghan government won unconditional peace talks with Taliban.
But the Taliban haven't responded to the statement that came from the Afghan government that this meeting was going to take place this month in September.
If the Afghan government is ready to accept Taliban as reality, Taliban should accept the reality of the past 17 years. I will explain you in a few minutes a story from my village. Very short, in few sentences.
Sure.
A girls' school was built after fall of Taliban in my village, in remote area. And you know, in this year, 17 girls entered to universities from this school. And now, if I shared with your colleagues a picture of women fighting for the school.
Yeah.
So this is how people responding to violence, and there was attack by Taliban to capture Farah province, which I'm from, and it was repelled because people of Afghanistan are fed up with war, and Afghan government is committed to peace process.
Definitely a story worth telling. Listen, finally, do you feel in any way that the American president is being too thin-skinned about this? More than a dozen American troops have been killed in Afghanistan in 2019. 2018 was the deadliest year in Afghanistan for civilians. Hundreds, thousands have died. It's incredible to think that he, because of one American soldier, all due respect to that American soldier who was killed on Thursday in Kabul, that the American president should take away this chance of a peace deal because of that attack on that American soldier in which 11 other people were killed, Afghans.
So let me put things in, it's recorded. Mike Pompeo rejected to sign off the deal which was hampered, some sort of finalized by Zolmay Khalilzad. This is the first. There was 9 ambassadors and special representatives of United States presidents letter in the Atlantic Council considering that a rush pullout from Afghanistan will be strategic defeat of United States in the region, and it will lead to civil war in Afghanistan. So it's deeper than just a simple incident.
I'm so glad that you've been able to come in to talk about this, because the whole world is wondering, not least in Afghanistan and in the United States,
Inshallah,
what the future of your country is.
Inshallah, we will have peace after 40 years, but it should be Afghan-led, Afghan-owned.
Zekria Barakzai, Consul General of Afghanistan here in Istanbul, thanks so much indeed.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.